Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Third and final one today. There is no more, unless we have a crazy news story that pops up. I doubt it. This is obviously the striker video. We'll talk a little bit about, obviously, the main man that we're due to sign, well, any real day now. As well as, I also just found out a little bit of information around a centre-half, which, it's a striker video, but I'm going to throw it in. We all love a transfer, don't we? We all do. Let's jump straight in. So, the man that I'm talking about is Alejo Veliz. Okay, now you're sitting there going, Andy, who? And I sit there and say, you're probably right. So this came from Fabrizio Romano yesterday, and I wanted to make a video on its own, spend a bit of time sort of doing a bit of research on him. And it says that Alejo Veliz, I probably have murdered that name a little bit, but you know what I mean, has agreed personal terms with Tottenham. The player wants to join, long-term contract in place. Negotiations underway between clubs. Rosario Central asked to keep Veliz on loan for at least 6 months, although Veliz's camp want to go straight to Spurs. So, interesting one there. It's been touted around sort of the £15 million mark, okay? To give you some of his stats from really the last sort of season, you know, age, that sort of thing. So, he's born on September 19th, 2003. Now, you're sitting on the end of that video going, Jesus Christ, he's young. I'm sitting here going, Jesus Christ, he's young. All right? He's 19. Now, he's 20 next month, but he's 19. Season kicks off in, you know, next week. He'll still be 19. It's mental what that is, you know, for him. It would be also Rosario's biggest ever sale as well. So, good for them, at least. In terms of the player himself, the stats from the last season that's just been in the Liga Professional, he played 23 times, scoring 11 goals. They've sort of said that he's not really a massive build-up player. He's more of a finisher, which in the Ange Postecoglou system is bang on perfect. To sort of give you a little bit more on Alejo, actually Lionel Messi talked about him, and he said that Vega, Perrone, and especially Veliz, watching him play reminds me of what Suarez used to play like. I'm very excited for the future of this country, and I hope I can be an influence to these people and talk to them. If Messi signs off on him, who am I to say no, you know? Do you know what? It'd be a deal that if another team did and it worked off well, you know, when you look at teams like a Brighton, you look at teams like, well, Man City with Julian Alvarez, it can work if you've got the patience, the correct build-up around them, the correct club infrastructure, you have everything in place, they can thrive and succeed. I mean, you watched Julian Alvarez this year and you were thinking, Jesus Christ, he starts at, you know, 18 of the Premier League clubs other than Spurs because of Harry Kane. Mental, but that's the thing, you know, we could be looking at another South American, you know, import that he's absolutely ready and rife to take up kind of the Argentinian mantle alongside an Alvarez and so on. But so value-wise, talking about 15 million, it's not too bad. You know, it's worth a punt. He's got high, you know, upside to him. A lot of people like him. And I think there'll be more that come out of him. We'll see more and more videos, more and more updates, quotes, that sort of thing. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it now. So moving on a little bit around strikers, obviously we know we have the interest in Kolo Muani. We know that we've had interest in Jonathan David at Lille. I think Vlahovic for a little while, but he might be going off to Chelsea with Lukaku going back the other way. Obviously, Brennan Johnson seems to be a big name on the list. Now, they actually said that he's not going to be an out-and-out Kane replacement, so I think they'll look at him as a right winger, which I don't hate. I do not hate whatsoever. Yes, we have Kulusevski. Yes, there's a few players there, but I think that right wing position is still up for grabs. I've not been sold on it for over a year now. Kulusevski in his first 6 months, great. Last year, I don't think anyone tried to even claim that position. So I think Brennan Johnson would be on that list. I don't really see it. Unless Kane goes, I don't see a big name coming in that area. So if you're expecting a big name for the attacking area, unless something comes up in the last few days of the window at a reasonable price, I don't see anything happening. To also give you an update, Brian Hill, had his groin surgery. He's out for 2 months. He won't be leaving this summer because of the fact he's injured. All right, so in that attacking area, you will come let's call it November time, Brian Hill will be back fit as well. So another name to add to that sort of area. Let's talk a little bit around the centre-back interest that came out. So this came from Akomo Mundo, all right? And you might have heard of him before through the press and things like that. If you haven't, don't worry. Spurs have come forward again for Torino central defender Perr Schuurs and are willing to raise the offer to both Torino and the player. He's had a verbal agreement with Crystal Palace for some time. Right, so we know we can outbid Palace. That's not a problem. Wages and for the fee. We'll offer him, obviously, probably a little bit more of an upside in terms of a club as well. Not a lot. We haven't won anything, you know. But when I looked at some of his sort of physical stats, 23 again, quite tall. I think we're looking at about 6'2", 6'3". The transfer market website valued him at 25 million euros on June 15th. He's got a contract till 2026 with an option of a further year. His market value absolutely rocketed over the last year. In a pretty decent year, all things considered, at Torino. Obviously, when you look at Torino not being the biggest name in Italy, good season really in the Serie A. Played 30 times, actually got 2 assists. Look at that, playmaker. Got more assists than half of our team last year. Played a lot in obviously the Eredivisie as well. Can play a little bit of defensive midfield as from time to time if necessary, but I think it's one of those things. If you're buying a centre half, he plays centre half. I don't hate the move in regards to he wouldn't be too expensive. He gives you better quality depth at centre back. And if let's say he was an alright player, you could probably use him as a Mark Guay inside the Mark Guay transfer if you so-called really still wanted him and you really needed him. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that because that's just come out of nowhere. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but yeah, that's a bit of an update around the centre half position. And I don't know if I've noted it down, but there was one lot. Yeah, here we go. So from Dan Kilpatrick, he also said Spurs are open to offers for Hugo Lloris, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Tanguy Ndombele, Brian Hill, among others. However, Brian Hill is expected to be sidelined for 2 months following the groin move surgery, which may limit him to a loan move. Brian Hill, forever out on loan is all I'm going to say about that. But the rest of them we all know about anyway, so we're not going to spend time on it. We're just going to wait and see how the chips fall. But guys, that's the end of the video for this one. It was a quick little striker update. There's no real news on the big names until Kane goes. And unfortunately, until Kane goes, we don't, or if he goes, we know nothing. But we are about to sign a striker. You never know. Could end up being an absolute baller. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Hit me in the comments section below. Alejo Veliz, you happy about that? Would you still want Kane to stay? And if you don't want him to stay, who is your absolute replacement for him? I know mine is. You know mine is. It's Kolo Muani. You let me know who yours is. I'm always happy to know, and I'm always going to try and get a comment back to you. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, that's the end of the video, guys, and I will see you all very, very soon. Take care, lads.